Hey, fellow babies, welcome back to Pachter Factor on SIFTD.net. I am Michael Pachter, your host at Michael Pachter on Twitter. You must be following me by now, but if you're not, please do. If you are watching real time on Patreon as a patron, we appreciate it. Thank you for your support. If you are watching on YouTube as a subscriber, thank you. Those two things cost money. So if you don't have any money, but you have an Amazon Prime account or your parents have an Amazon Prime account, open up a Twitch Prime account, you probably already have one, and link it to your Amazon Prime account. You get all sorts of cool stuff anyway, but we get money. So please link those two accounts, and the instructions are in the show description, and then we will get paid, and we'll give you early access. So you'll get this the same time as the paying customers, because we don't really care. We're mercenary. However Shane gets paid is good for me. I'm happy. Our question today comes from Sifted from Derek D111. Blizzard currently has a well-earned bad reputation due to its recent scandal. Could this affect how it runs its business going forward? Is it less likely to do things like add microtransactions to full-price games like Overwatch 2? How can gaming companies repair the reputations of players? I assume you mean the sexual harassment scandal and the possible sexual discrimination scandal, which really doesn't impact consumers, and I don't mean that to be glib. It impacts everybody if a firm, doesn't have an open hiring environment. You're getting lower quality employees if you don't embrace people of all genders, all sexual orientations, and all races and all backgrounds. So obviously, talent is not limited to straight white males. You can have really, really supremely talented people, of any persuasion, any gender, any race, anything. And if you've been around the gaming industry, there really are tons of them out there. And I actually think it's better for the world to integrate and have your game studio look like your consumer audience. If your game studio looks like your audience, you're going to make better games, period. So I believe that Blizzard's going to clean up its act. I didn't know Jay Brack very well. And I definitely did not know the guys who got canned for being harassers. So I can't speak to those guys at all because I don't even think I met any of them. I did know Jay Brock okay. I know Mike Ibarra pretty well. And is it Jen O'Neill is the other woman, I think, that's running this co-president. I don't know her. She's a 20-year developer. So she's definitely somebody who's really good. Ibarra's a former Xbox guy, stud. But I think that they're trying to just get open-minded, people. Ibarra is a Hispanic surname. I assume he's Hispanic. I know the guy, but never asked him. Jen, woman, just to be more inclusive, and they are. And Microsoft is a really good organization. So Ibarra came from Microsoft to Blizzard. I expect that this was really limited to areas like World of Warcraft team. I mean, it seems like all the bad guys were kind of there. I haven't heard that there was a lot at Overwatch. I've heard nothing about Diablo or StarCraft. So my guess is it really is limited. Probably about a dozen bad guys who probably harass about 20 or 30 women, and Activision is going to pay. And the women, let's hope they're made whole and they don't quit. And let's hope the guys are fired, and let's hope they don't hire people like that anymore. That'll happen. I think that they'll fix the business. Is it less likely to add microtransactions? You're hitting a favorite topic of mine, and so I'm going to go off on a Pachter rant about this. I have always thought that microtransactions added to full price games is a stupid idea, always. And there are two glaring success stories of that. One is FIFA Ultimate Team and the other is Grand Theft Auto Online. So a lot of guys point to the success of FIFA Ultimate Team, which is probably $1 billion a year, on top of a game that does $1 billion a year in sales. And they say, why wouldn't you do that? And they look at Grand Theft Auto Online, which has sold, I think their last number is 140 million copies of the game, probably average wholesale price of $25. But still, they've done cumulatively about $3 billion in game sales, and they do about $500 million a year in GTA Online, so $3 billion in cumulative online sales. So roughly equal, microtransactions behind a paywall and then the paywall itself. And people go, what's wrong with that? What if I could do that? Well, then along comes Call of Duty Warzone and Call of Duty Mobile and even Apex Legends. But let's go with Call of Duty first. Activision decided they wanted to be just like FIFA and just like GTA, and they put a paywall in front of Call of Duty Blackout. Remember that phenomenal success? That was their battle royale, and they told us that while plenty of people played it, nobody spent money. And the reason they didn't spend money is the people who spent $60 for Call of Duty felt that they were owed the battle royale experience for free, and so that they just didn't feel compelled to buy anything in the game, and that makes sense to me. Now they already had microtransactions in Call of Duty, which were not a giant business, a couple $100 million a year, but people demanded that all the weapons and things, the upgrades and bacon wrap and whatever they did in Call of Duty carried over to Blackout. So they dropped that thing like a bad habit its first year, and they went back to the drawing board, and it took them a year and a half, and they launched Warzone. So Blackout was fall of 18, Warzone was March of 20. And Warzone, as you know, is free to play, no paywall. You don't have to buy Call of Duty. You can play it if you want to play it. And at the time that game came out, Activision actually said, we're giving out guidance for our year, and our guidance is flattish year-over-year sales for the year for Call of Duty, and that's because we think that Blackout could harm our ability to sell the game to those people, because they're getting a free Call of Duty experience. Mobile had come out in October 19. By the time the year 2020 ended and Activision reported, Call of Duty unit sales, premium game, $60 game, were up 40%. People bought the old Modern Warfare, the 2019 Modern Warfare during 2020, but unit sales up 40%. So put your free-to-play experience in front of the paywall, and you're going to have, instead of the 20 million people who buy Call of Duty or FIFA or GTA playing your online game, you're going to have 100 million free players checking it out, and you're going to convert more people to pay because nobody's paying for the experience. So that's what Activision discovered. So to answer your question, I actually had a conversation with Bobby Kotick in 2019, and he asked me what I thought he could do better. And I said, Overwatch should be free to play. No paywall. The entire game, free to play. And you will get, however many Overwatch players there are, 30 million, I think, cumulatively. You'll get an extra 30 or 40 million people who will try it, and you'll go from 30 million people who understand Overwatch to 60. And by the time you get around to Overwatch 2, and this is 2019, so we didn't know when it was coming, you'll have a much bigger installed base of Overwatch players. So even if you don't make money on the free-to-play game through microtransactions, you're going to win over a bunch of free players who will then want to play Overwatch 2 and will buy it. So I actually think, in fact, that they are less likely to add microtransactions to Overwatch 2. I think they're going to make Overwatch 1 free-to-play and fully burden you with microtransactions everywhere that they can. And then when Overwatch 2 comes out, they're going to say, oh, if you want to play these 12 new characters we just designed on these 30 new maps that we just came up with, new cities to fight in the new 5x5 mode instead of 6x6, you have to buy Overwatch 2, and you will. So I actually think that is the cookie cutter model for the future. And the reason I brought up Call of Duty first is Activision figured this out. Now, one thing we've seen happen at Activision Blizzard is that the Activision guys took over. So you saw Mike Morhaime leave. Jay Brock, 20-year employee, or 12-year employee, but longtime World of Warcraft game director, moved up to run the whole place. And then, I forgot the harasser's name, but he became the game director on World of Warcraft. He's gone. Brack is gone. Not because of sexual harassment, but Kaplan is gone from Overwatch team. The executive producer of Overwatch left, and I doubt it was harassment either because he told people he was leaving in a week, so he wasn't escorted out. But you got massive turnover between Morheim, Kaplan, Brock, you lost some pretty senior guys at Blizzard. And part of the reason is because I think Activision is telling them what to do. And I think they're telling them 5-on-5 Overwatch, not 6-on-6. They're telling them Overwatch free to play before you release Overwatch 2. They're telling them Diablo Immortal mobile in addition to, Diablo 2 Resurrected in addition to Diablo 4. They're telling them World of Warcraft should have a mobile component. It might be Warcraft mobile because World is tough, massively multiplayer, but you can do a Warcraft mobile game and keep people interested and maybe let them, level up their dungeons or whatever they do, level up their characters so they can then translate it. So I think that Blizzard was resistant to getting games out fast, and I think that Morheim's departure changed the sense of urgency because it became the Activision sense of urgency. And to be honest, it's fair to be skeptical that Activision screws everything up, but that's why I brought up the Call of Duty example. They don't. They actually get it right a lot. And so I think that Blizzard's going to get better. I think getting rid of harassers and the people who enabled them is a great idea. And again, Brack apparently never harassed anybody, was not a bad guy at all, but he left the company because apparently he knew about it and didn't discipline the people involved. There has to be zero tolerance for people who are bad, for bad in any way, bad at their jobs or bad people. And I think Activision has really been chastened by the experience. They lost a lot of senior. And again, Morheim left for completely different reasons. He wasn't a harasser either. He's a wonderful guy. But he left because I think that Activision was telling him greater sense of urgency to get these games out. And I think he was pushing back and saying no. And they were like, we paid the paycheck, so we win. That's what happens. So I hope that answered your question. I do think that gaming companies can repair their reputation by making good games, getting them out on time, having happy workforces who talk about how there was no crunch time and they got all the time they needed to work on games. All those things are inconsistent with one another. There will always be crunch. I read a whole bunch of women posting who work at Blizzard saying, please don't boycott our games. This is our livelihood, and it can only get better for us, but if you boycott, then we're all going to lose our jobs. So it's one of those real tough things. Like, you don't want to support a company where women are degraded, and what you want is the company to make change. I take them at their word that they are going to fix things at Blizzard, and I believe that they will. And I think it'll happen in relatively short order. The crazy thing is, 25 years ago, there just weren't that many women in universities studying computer science, and now there are. And it was gradual. And I say not that many, maybe 20% of computer, software design people were women 25 years ago, and now it's 50 or 60, who knows. So it's going to happen. This is going to happen. And, I think same with minority hires. I think it's going to be, there will be more and more and more, people of color and transgender and, different religions from whatever the hiring manager is. It doesn't matter. We're going to get a bunch of companies that look like the consumers that they serve, and that's going to ultimately make the products better. Thanks for joining us on Pachter Factor on SIFTD.net, and especially if you are a Patreon patron and getting it real time, thank you for your contribution. If you are a YouTube subscriber, thank you. You're helping Shane, keep eating macaroni and cheese. And if you are neither of those, even if you are one of those, join your Amazon Prime account, link it to your Twitch Prime account, and Amazon will pay us and charge you nothing. So since it costs you nothing except reading the instructions below and clicking on the link, it's pretty easy. Do it, please. We get paid. And if you don't have Amazon Prime, which is your only excuse, and you don't have any money, which is your only excuse, then you're watching it for free on YouTube a week late. Follow me on Twitter at Michael Pachter. See you next time.